Good morning, welcome and hello. Grande BIZ show, Bruno Bricardi. Push your limits. Today I want to tell you three stories. Story number one. Apple company marketing. Steve Jobs said, I want my advert in a New York Times magazine, weekly magazine. Okay. They ask the advertising, the marketing company, they go to the magazine people and they say, okay, we want this. How long will it take? 3 months, because we have to prepare everything, organize. Okay, but it's urgent. We must have shorter time. Okay, 2 months. They go back to Steve Jobs and he said, what? 2 months waiting? Are you crazy? Now it's a weekly magazine. They prepare everything in just few days. If they can do it, you can do it. It must be done. It can be done. So go back and do something. No, it can't be done. It's physically, it's regulations, it's procedures. He said one thing. You want to work with me, or you want me to take your competition? I take you or I take somebody else. Ultimatum. End of story. Just do it. Push your limits. And that's what they did. They said, come on guys, it's critical. It's emergency. We lose the contract with Apple and Steve Jobs, or we must do it. We must convince New York Times to do it in just 2 weeks. So they used every possible persuasion technique they could think of. They would cry, shout, laugh, complain, whine, beg. They would do everything they possibly could to push the limits. And they did it! And they finally got it done in 2 weeks. So, Steve Jobs was happy. They kept the contract. End of story. So, create your own rules. Live your life on your own terms. Create your own universe with your laws of physics, with your laws of business, with your laws of relationships. This way, you will see what will happen if you do it. Story number 2. Apple. Apple company with this ritual, with this obsession about opening the box. If you open the box, you have your new iPhone, your new iMac. It's a big ritual, big thing. Now, so they are concentrated on designing these boxes. Now, they designed another new box, and they needed a small plastic thing to uphold, to keep all this up. They go to the producer and they say, we need this small plastic thing. And he says, yes, sorry guys, it's impossible to do, because the metal is so hot and the plastic is so small and thin, it will just melt. It goes away. We can't make it. So the Apple engineers, they knew. They had 2 options. Option number 1, go to Steve Jobs and say, sorry, it can't be done, it's impossible. So they could only wait, and they knew what would happen. You want to work with me, or you get lost? So they didn't even think of going back to Steve Jobs saying, oh, sorry, it can't be done. So they knew they had to do something. They said, come on guys, it must be done, it can be done. Maybe they've seen it somewhere, or they knew that the plastic thing could happen like this. But what was the problem? The metal, the temperature was the problem. So they said, come on, if you make aluminum, metal part, it can be done. Yes, but it would be time consuming, cost, not effective. Because we have to redesign, make a new part, make a new system, just to create your small little piece. Okay guys, you want to cooperate with us? Keep the contract, keep the job? Push your limits! Again, push your limits. And they did it, and it happened. And they had the part, and they had the magic opening ritual system. Because if you push your limits and you live your life on your own terms, you're different than all the rest. And then you attract attention, interest, desire, followers, clients, sponsor, whatever you want. Because our human brain is attracted and follows what is different. You see all this green around, and you see the red more than you see the green, because it's different. So, as Steve Jobs said, think different and push your limits. Now, story number 3. Imagine what I do is helping people with English, for example. So, you learn English in 2 years. What if you could learn English in just not 2 years, but just 2 days? 2 days. So imagine all the people going to language schools. They go to their school and they say, come on, you teach me not in 2 years, but in 2 days, or otherwise I quit, I give up, I go to competition. Now the English school would have to think, rewire, redesign, reboot their system, rethink their philosophy and methodology. And that's what can happen. Sometimes don't wait for the coincidence, for the situation to force you, to make you, for the situation to push you, squeeze you, so you're really on the edge of survival. But if you find a challenge, make a challenge, if you challenge yourself to do it, then you can discover something. You can discover a new reality, because you are creating a new universe. Sometimes this mechanism is when you have, for example, cable TV, and you push your limits and you say, I quit, I break the contract, thank you, see you, bye bye. And suddenly they offer you a better offer. So that's very everyday example of using this technique of pushing the limits, giving ultimatum. So you can use it with others, on others, to make them push their limits, but also remember that somebody can do it on you. And number 3 is when you do it on you. That's probably the most difficult one. And you can see what happens. So, good luck. Thank you for watching, sharing and enjoying Grande Business Show.